Okay, good evening, everyone. So while we wait for our everyone to be joining us, so we'll be starting very soon. Good evening, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Godfrey. How are you doing?
Hi, good evening, Mr. Dan. Nice to hear from you. Well done.
Okay, so we'll be starting in a few minutes. We'll be like while we wait for the others to join us. How
Okay.
how was it Sunday? How was it Sunday? How did it go?
Yeah, it went well. I have persons who want to join, who want to watch the session. So how can I get a link or something they can use to join the live session?
Okay.
Like
Oh,
this, the
oh,
link for the audience.
okay. That wasn't sent to you.
No, no, I've not gotten that yet. Because I have
Okay,
persons who are asking how can they join, how can they join.
okay, then I'll send that to you now. So okay, Mr. Godfrey, I just sent you the link. Okay, so please, if you're just joining us, you can just drop your name on the comment section. Would love to know where you're joining us from, and would also love to know your name.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, Mr. Stephen. Good evening, Mr. Ifine.
Okay, good evening.
So, good evening to the people, to the participants joining us from all around. So, please just let us know your name and where you're joining from. We should be starting any moments from now. So, let's know your name and where you're joining from. Okay, welcome Amy from Port Harcourt. Chuku Frederick from Port Harcourt. Wow, we have a lot of Port Harcourt people here. Welcome Enudu Mary from Enugu. Okay. Okay. Ifeoson Mercy from Benin. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so Mr. Steven, how are you doing? How was your Sunday? How did your day go? Mr. Steven, your mic is muted. We should be starting any moments from now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. So how was your day?
Whew, my day was great. It was very nice, and so Sunday. So I just got back from a short visit today. So yeah, getting ready for Monday. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
Okay.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so we are waiting for our last panelist to just so we can just kickstart with everyone at once.
Okay, all right.
So how has everything been? How was the week? And sorry, we have not started the panelist section yet, but then I would love to know, do you have any serious plans for the coming week?
Serious plan for the coming week.
Yeah.
Well, I've been away from work for 3 weeks, and yes, because of youth service orientation, NYC orientation, that I had to participate in. So I'm looking forward to meeting my students again tomorrow, and yeah, having to engage with other members of the learning community. Yeah, and the other plans that we've had for this session long before now. I'm looking forward to seeing them unfold this very season
Okay,
or this very week as well. So it's going to be an exciting week for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
okay. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank
That's
you, Daniel.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. It's already 7:17. So before we actually get started, please, if you have any questions that you would love to give our panelists before we even begin, you can just drop them on the comment section. Like, remember, the theme of the conference is Beyond the Four Walls. So whether you're a student, you're a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're a coach, whatever you are, freelancer and the rest, these people that we are bringing on board today are people that can help you beyond your wildest imaginations. Welcome, Oluwatobi from Benin. So please, if you have any questions at all, if you have anything that's ever disturbed you at this to become the best version of yourself, then you could share them on this section now. As before we start, share them on the comment section before we get started fully. Abdul Hassim Popular from Ogun State, welcome. Okay. Okay, so we'll start in the next 2 minutes. Okay, Annie from Lagos, welcome. Okay, so we'll be starting the next 1 minute. Okay, I'm already seeing questions. Someone is looking forward to hearing from the future Minister of Education, Mr. Stephen. Is that you? Someone is looking forward to hearing from you already. Okay.
Please, what's the YouTube handle for watching?
Okay, that wasn't sent to you. Please, could you reach out? Okay, let me just do that myself. Let me send that across to you now. My apologies for that. Okay, I've sent it to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, Godfrey, also, have you seen the YouTube link for watching?
You said something, sir.
I said, have you seen the YouTube link for watching for those that want to watch? Did I send that to you?
Yes. I've shared it. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll be getting started right now. Okay, so I would love to. So firstly, I would love to welcome everyone that is joining us this evening to the finale of Beyond the Four Walls conference. Now, for the last 3 days, we have been holding various sections from business to finances to skill sets wise to mindsets, that's development of young people psychologically. We have been holding all these sections with one vision: to help young people build and become the best versions of themselves, to build and become, like, kickstart that journey to becoming industry leaders, career leaders, industry leading experts, business leaders, and beyond. Because we truly believe that, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your years of experience, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of where you stay, where you come from, your location, all of those things, like, everyone has the rights, everyone has what it takes to impact not just Nigeria, not just its locality, but the world at large. So our goal now as a tech company is to see how we can bring out those versions, to see how we can unlock those hidden potentials in young people, students, entry-level professionals, recent graduates, small business owners, freelancers, and the likes. Our goal is to help you reach your full potential, and the first step to achieving this is this conference. Of course, for people like Stephen and Godfrey, like, and for every other speaker that we have had in the last few days, like, this conference is just the beginning of what we are going to be working on with them. And we believe that as we start this journey in the next 1 year, the next 6 months, most of you can look back and say that truly the Beyond the Four Walls conference was the beginning, or was that trigger you needed to become the best version of yourself, to reach your full potential. So once again, welcome everyone. Welcome Mr. Stephen. Welcome Mr. Godfrey. Welcome Mr. Ibiojo from Benin. Welcome Miss Ifiosem Mercy from Benin. And every other person that's joined us, I may not be able to read out everybody. Welcome everyone. So we'll be getting started right now, and before we get started, I would love to give our okay. I want to apologize for our third speaker who due to some inconveniences might not be able to join us. So what we plan to do is set up a section just personal for him and for any other speaker that's based on technical issues and other arrangements might not have been able to speak within the last 3 days. So as far as you're still part of the wait room, as far as you're still part of the community, you'll be hearing from us concerning these speakers that based on these technical issues, we're not able to join, and we are going to be working hard to set up personalized section, maybe just for them or just for each of them, depending on how the technicalities were. So as we get started right now with our two panelists for this evening, I would want, before we start asking questions and all of that, I would love them to share a few insights on what they think about when they hear Beyond the Four Walls. What do they think, and what insights do they feel? Like, what's the one advice that they can have for young people that's beyond the questions that will be like talking about during this panel section and all of that? So I'll just want to hear, like, for the next 10 minutes or for the next 5 minutes, like, let's just hear from them. Let's hear what they think, and then beginning of what we have for the evening. So I'll start with Mr. Stephen. Mr. Stephen, are you ready to start with us? Okay, his mic is still muted. So, Mr. Godfrey. So for the next 5 minutes, could you tell us what you think about beyond, when you hear Beyond the Four Walls, what do you think about it? Like, what do you think about the university experience? Can you just tell us a bit more about your story?
Yeah, please, can you give me a second? I was expecting a delivery, so they just came in. So please give me a second.
Okay, don't worry. So, Mr. Godfrey, so just
Okay.
What do you think about Beyond the Four Walls? You just graduated. Tell us your story. Just like, we want to know more about you. We want to know more about what is in your brain and your experiences and all of that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Dan. Thank you, everyone who has worked together to ensure. Hope you guys can hear me clearly. To ensure that this program, is a success. God bless you all. The ENSKI team, right? Hope I got that correct. So, my name is Ifeanyi Godfrey, and yeah, I'm a fresh graduate. And when I'm a fresh graduate, it's still hot, like just come out of fire, right? I just signed out about 2 days ago from the University of Benin. Okay, and I would say my university experience was an amazing one. Trust me. For those of you who know me before now, maybe those of you who were with me here in Uniben, and for those of you who don't know me at all, I'll just take another 2 or 3 minutes to just do a quick summary of my story. I was sharing this yesterday in Go a Bit Further, a platform I was also invited to speak on about creating your university experience and leveraging that to build your career and build up yourself even while you're on campus, preparing for what we call the real world, in quote. Okay, so came to the University of Benin in the year 2019, and at the time I came into school, okay, yeah, I came here to study. Actually, I came into school to study, but going forward, I had this urge, record an urge, or a leading, or an insight that I was not just in school for classes and all the academic things and all. There was more to my coming to the university, and yeah, God confirmed that to me in several ways. So I had to start searching my spirit, start executing on ideas, and one day I remember vividly the idea for an event jumped on me, and guess what? I was still in my 100 level. First semester, fresher on campus. And when the idea came, yeah, of course, the first person I shared that idea with literally told me that it's not possible, university students cannot buy into this. I got a couple of discouragements here and there, but I kept at it, and by God's grace, it's called Project 1000. I'm still wearing the shirt for the second sorry, not cohort 2 now, second edition, right? For Project 1000. And the goal was to help undergraduates. The goal was to help undergraduates leverage their time on campus, okay? Because I see your university days as one of the biggest leverage you can always have in life, okay? Yeah, life is far beyond the four walls of the classroom, of the university, but an average undergraduate does not know that. An average undergraduate have not come to that understanding. So coming into the university, despite I was also coming to have the university experience, but at the same time, I also had this drive in me to help undergraduates prepare for the real world. So we did Project 1000 in my 100 level, and funny enough, the Project 1000 1.0, that was the one we did in my 100 level in 2019, where we had over 800 paid participants. The theme was beyond the classroom, So when I saw this theme as well, it kind of brought back some memories and all, right? So it was an amazing experience. I mean, working with over 50 volunteers and staging that event for 2 Saturdays. We brought in experts. We brought in facilitators in and outside of Benin, from Lagos and all. And yeah, we really had students turn up, basically because we were intentional about helping them, create their university days, like leverage their university days to prepare for life after school. So I think it's something that every undergraduate really needs to pay some attention to. So if you're still a student in whatever school you're in, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, I used to describe it this way. It's called university because it's the universe in a city. Okay, hope you get that. It's called a university because what you have is the universe in a city. So it literally means that everything you're looking out for in the universe, in the real world, okay, is within that city called your university experience. Everything you're thinking of exploiting outside there, you can start it while you're on campus. And the beautiful part of it is that you don't have anything to lose while you're on campus, okay? Trust me, everyone who graduated from the university and just spent their time going from class to probably fellowship or watching movies and gisting around and all without building up capacity, building experiences, gathering information about career, about life, and all. Trust me, they all regretted that. I have elder brothers who keep saying, man, if I know what you know now when I was in school, or more, my life will not be where it is right now. They still explain because evidence no day, So, but for you now, you're hearing this. If you're still an undergraduate, you are privileged. Trust me, you are really privileged. And even if you're not an undergraduate, maybe you're a fresh graduate, you're still you're like me, right? You're still serving as a youth corper, okay, or you're already done serving and you're just about to face life, okay, it's still very much applicable to you, okay. The earlier you start taking advantage of, is one of the things I wanted to talk about, taking advantage of opportunities around you. Your university days is a huge opportunity. So even if you're done with school, there's still very much opportunities around you that you can take advantage of and ensure that you don't get to regret it in the future. So yeah, life beyond the four walls of the classroom is one that I think every university student, undergraduate, needs to start intentionally preparing for while on campus. Else, after school, you're going to realize that you're already too late. The times you were supposed to have used to test the waters, figure out your life while you're on campus, and a lot of these things, you just wasted it doing unproductive things. And then after school, it's already too late for you to start trying and failing. So I always encourage try and fail while you're on campus. So probably that's what I would just say, briefly as we proceed. I would share more things now. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you. Sorry for the interruption earlier. Yeah, Daniel. These service delivery people, they can be very annoying at times.
Okay.
So you asking me a question before I left, so I'm here now.
Okay. First of all, before I go back to the question, Mr. Godfrey, really thank you so much for Like I wasn't in your university. I was never in Uniborn, but then from everything I've heard about you and from everything that I've seen, and even from hearing from you up close right now, I must say you had a really amazing university experience. You had a full university experience, and I'm not sure that looking back you regret so much. But then we'll be getting to that. So, Mr. Steven,
All
we
right.
like I was asking that before we start the main panel section, I would love to ask you like what when they say beyond the four walls, what do you think? Like, can you tell us more about your experiences in the university setting? Sorry?
Okay. Okay, I'm with you. All right. So for me, when you are thinking beyond the four walls, right? I see it as a life that goes beyond university, that goes beyond your institution. See, there is a disconnect between the real world and what we have on campus. And it's been a challenge in our educational system that what we what's been taught in the classroom has a sort of disconnection to what's going on in the real world. So, but for many students, getting into school, they tend to live their life like they're not going beyond that school wall. So they are restricted. Um, they don't understand the concept of a tertiary institution. They don't understand the concept of schooling. They don't understand the concept of education. And for you to really understand schooling or education beyond the four walls of your of your school or beyond the four walls, you must first understand the difference between school and education. And I think that is where many students miss it. They don't understand the difference between school and education. And what we have, so when you hear people say school is scam, they mistaken school as education. And school is just a physical or virtual space or virtual structure that is being provided for you to learn. But for our higher institutions, a school is that four walls, a physical space that gives you access to lectures. Okay, it gives you access to content in forms of lecture, gives you access to lecturers, gives you access to people, gives you access to resources that would help you to learn and be educated and prepare for life beyond school, beyond that four walls. So not understanding what school means and what education is what has led to many students being restricted in their thoughts and their capabilities as to what they should be doing when they're in school. So beyond the four walls, see, life outside school is different. So if you ask people that have graduated from school now, they will tell you that life after school is different. Reality is different after school. And the earlier you start preparing for life after school, for the realities of life after school, things like working, interacting with people, taking responsibility for yourself as an adult, the moment you start realizing that early enough, you start building the skills and the experience necessary. No one said when you're in school you should not build social capital. See, when you're in school, if you're thinking beyond the four walls, you would understand that social capital is very, very important. For those of you that are in the business space, understand the importance of having a social capital, having people that you can call, you can always fall back to when you need help. But you can easily build them when you're in school. So if you ask many of these top politicians, how do you know each other when we're in school? If you ask many top people, how do you know each other? When I was in school. Some founders when I was in school. But it is that same school that you went to, but you don't know them. But those same people, they've thought of life beyond university, beyond the four walls. So when you're in school, what I think about life beyond the four walls is that the thought of seeing yourself in school, but seeing that time as a period of preparing for life, for the real world. And when you're in school, you have to learn personal development beyond the four walls. You have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to interact with people. You have to learn how to lead people. Those are the things you need in the real world. not basically, not necessarily your theoretical knowledge from school. School is very important because I don't think that aside from university, there's any structure again in your lifetime that allows you to be in a space for 4 or 5 years and give you access to people. If you are in a school, see, an average school in Nigeria has not a federal university in Nigeria has nothing less than 3,000 students or 4,000 students. Okay, so if you, what am I even saying? If you're in a school like University of Ilorin, where I finished from, you, I think the average population is about 60,000 students, and that size is equivalent to some of the world's smallest country. So if you are thinking of life beyond the four walls, you'll be thinking, how do I interact with these people in this community? How do I meet the right people here? How do I get the right connection that would help me to live life beyond my school? So if you're in a university, you're literally in a small world. Okay, so that's what I think about life beyond the four wall. And the earlier you start realizing that, see, school is not the end, but it means to somewhere, the better for you. Thank you. Do we still have Daniel here?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
I'm fully here. Thank you very much, Mr. Steven. I had to leave the stage to give you guys like optimum space to, because you guys are our panelists. So anyways, so thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that insightful view on the life beyond the four walls. So first of all, I would love to ask, if it's okay to ask you, as we get started now, like you said something about the life beyond the four walls, how you met people, met politicians and everything. So now when like a lot of people aspire to be these things, a lot of people aspire to be better than just being a regular student. So Mr. Steven, this question goes to you.
Okay.
A lot of people aspire to be better than just a student and all of that. But then the truth is that they find themselves in this kind of condition that, okay, maybe because I'm a student, like I might not be able to reach out to a CEO and he will answer me. I might not be able to reach out to a tech leader or an industry leader, a politician, and he'll answer me. Might not even be able to reach out to my HOD and he'll give me audience. So like, like when it comes to breaking limiting mindsets now, how can we handle not allowing our age and our environment affect us, especially in countries like Nigeria?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. So I think that, like I would always say, being a student doesn't stop you from being a person of value. Being a student doesn't stop you from being a person of value. And if you want to connect with people that are high up there, you must be someone of value. That is the truth. I'm sure if you want to connect with Godfrey here, he's going to be looking out for, is this person a person of value as well? It's either you are a person of value or he's connecting with you because he wants to add value to you. But there must be substance. Okay, so being a student doesn't stop you from arming yourself with value, being exposed, knowing stuff, being knowledgeable, read wide, understand how the world is, how things go, is running the world. So to connect with high caliber people, the first thing you must do as a student is to have value. And it's simple to say, but when I was in school, I had the opportunity to connect with some high caliber people, right? And it was from the standpoint of, I know what I'm doing and I know where I'm going to. So when I'm connecting with them, I'm connecting with them on the basis of this is what I do as a young person, and this is what I've done over the last 3 years, over the last 2 years as an undergraduate, or this is my role currently as a student. And I look forward to learning from you, and I connect with them. People will connect with you when they see that you are heading somewhere. So the idea of I'm a student and it should limit me, it's something that is long gone. As a matter of fact, the way the world is right now, The internet has given every one of us a leveler. It has become a level ground that a student who's in tutorial level can be having connection with people that are doctors and professors from other universities, and even within your campus, to connect with lecturers that are of high quality. Okay, you'd have to be a person of value. When I was in my NYC camp just recently, I connected with a top government official, one of the government agencies, and after speaking, I listened to her session and I realized that this is someone I'd like to connect with after a session. Then I walked up to her. I said, "Ma," I complimented what do you call it, a session, and I complimented how she spoke. Then I went for her to introduce myself and told her what I do and what I have done, and the fact that I look forward to possible collaboration with her to do things in the future. And I asked for her phone number. See, she gave me her contact, and this is an high profile person. She gave me her contact, and this is not to boast, but right now she views my status, and sometimes she randomly check on me. And we just met less than 3 weeks ago. She asked me, how is camp going? What are you doing? So this is how it should be. So if you are a student, it doesn't stop you from being a person of value and connecting with high profile people. And another way you can connect with them is by serving. One of the things you have to learn very fast as a young person is that to rise up the ladder, you must serve. You must serve people. Those things that people say that I don't want anybody to use me. See, it is when you are useful that people want to use you. It is when you have something to offer that you will be used. Everybody at one point or the other have been used for something, have been used. So all those I don't want to use, I don't want anybody to, I don't want to listen. Then how do you meet people? How do you get to connect with high profile people if you don't want to be used or if you don't want to offer your service? So on that way, I was able to connect with top profile people as a student is offering myself to serve. I once connected with a top media personnel in Nigeria on LinkedIn, and what I do is that I look for the loophole. Okay, I saw that on the profile. No, sorry, a top comedian in Nigeria, a top comedian who is on LinkedIn. I saw that on his profile, he wasn't having LinkedIn header, that picture, that is the headline picture, whatever they call it. And I reached out to him. So I started liking his posts every now and then. I drop comments, response. Then one day I went to his DM and I said a few things. And I said, "Sir, I noticed that you don't have a LinkedIn headline. Let me design one for you." And he said, "Oh wow." I said, and I asked him for his brand color. He gave me his brand color, and I went back to work. I designed and I presented to him. See, without me asking for anything further, he gave me his phone. He gave me his contact, and that was how I got connected to that man. Till today, once in a while I reach out to him, and whenever I celebrated something, I celebrate with him as well. So you must be willing to serve. You must be willing to volunteer. Always go from the place of value, because you can't just go to meet someone and say, "Sir, I want to be in your space." The question is, what do you have to offer? So, but when you are going to say, "Sir, I think I can be of value to your team. I know how to do this, I know how to do that," and that has earned me several opportunities, including that of a media person I was trying to talk about earlier. I saw that she's hosting a master class, and I reached out to her and said, "Ma, I have experience in virtual meetings and all that. Can I be part of your team?" I was a student. Okay, I've never met them before, all those people. And she said, "Okay, tell me what you can do." And I went for that, tell her what I can do. And she got my contact. And that was how I got to know about her. And recently I met her. So, and several countless opportunities like that I've had as a student. I got them from the place of value. I have value to offer. I want to serve. I want to volunteer. I also want to learn. So once you have all those things in place, there's something you can trade for. But when you have no value to offer, you have no skill to offer, you're not going anywhere. Then on what basis do you want to try? Do you want to connect to people at that level? So when there is something to offer and you have confidence and you are bold, boldness is a currency, and you are bold, you can reach out to these people and they'll be willing to have you in their space. They'll be willing to mentor you. They're willing to coach you. Okay. Thank you for that question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Steven. So you said two things like that I really picked from what you said in terms of breaking this mindset and all of that. You have to come from a point of value. and also be ready to serve. Come from a standpoint of value and be ready to serve. Like, and that's actually very true. So many young people, like, want to, as we said yesterday during our last section yesterday, we said that so many young people, they're reaching out to most of their dream role models for mentorship. You're reaching out to most of your dream role models for mentorship, but then, sorry about that, they're reaching out for most of to their dream models for mentorship, but then, like, you reach out and then you be like, sir, old man, good afternoon, I want you to be my mentor, I love what you do. And most of them never get replies in this kind of messages. Most people never get replies in this kind of messages. But then, like, I believe when they're coming from a standpoint, as you just said, a standpoint of value and service, like, it helps in a lot of ways. So now I think I would love to ask, this is more like just a follow-up question to what you just said, Mr. Steven. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you 100%. I'm trying to take down notes.
Okay. So like, just a follow-up question. So when you said that you should be, people would connect with you when they know that you're heading somewhere. So, like, coming from a standpoint of a student now people will connect with you when you are a person of value and all of that. So now, how exactly, I know this question might seem so basic considering how far most of us have come, most of you have gone and everything, but then there's probably a student on this call, maybe in his 100 level, maybe in his 200 level, that is wondering, how do I even start building this value in the first place? Can you just give us, like, in a very, maybe in 1 minute or in 30 seconds, like maybe 3 or 4 practical steps or 3 or 4 practical things that someone can do as a student that won't cost them so much, but then, like, when they look back, they should be able to say it from a standpoint of value, that they have built some value to some extent.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say this, right? None of us were born with an optimized life. We're not. No one was born with the complete profile. Even that student that is blazing the trail, he or she wasn't born with that complete profile. So I know a couple of students that on their 200 level, they started blazing the trail. See, in fact, from my 200 level, I've started doing stuff on campus already. So what are the practical steps you can take to be a person of value? One, I would say that first identify that one thing you want to do for your life, with your life. Identify that one thing you want to do, because if you want to get a mentor, the mentor should be someone either within your sphere, or the mentor should be someone that is going in the same direction, or that has gone through that path that you want to go through. So you can't be interested in being a political leader, and your mentor is a fashion designer. Okay, but that's why it is important that you must first identify that one thing you want to run with. See, many students are always confused. They want to pursue everything. They want to pursue everything. They want to be known for everything. See, identify one thing you want to run with for like 2, 3, 4 years of your life, and run with it. And in the course of identifying that one thing and you want to run with it, it exposes you to building skills that are needed for that one thing. So let me give you an instance, very, very simple instance. I have been planning to start creating video content to post online, right? So that is something I want to look for. I'm looking forward to do. But to do that, I need to master the skill of speaking in front of the camera. That is towards my goal. So I have built a skill already just because I'm going somewhere. I also need to learn the skill of video editing, maybe using CapCut. That is another skill I have picked up because I'm going somewhere. I also need to learn the skill of writing short scripts for video. That's another skill I have picked because I'm going somewhere. So when you have one thing you want to you want to run with for the rest of your life, or for a period of your life, there are some skills you're going to build along the way. It's like, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and every other thing shall be added. So seek ye first that one thing you want to do for the rest of your life, and every other skill you need to build along with it will be added unto you. But it doesn't come if you haven't identified one thing. So if you're a student, the question should be, what is that one thing I want to do? And if I want to be known, I want to go into the tech space, then as a tech person, what are the skills I must build? What are the things I must know? Do I have to start from the front end, whatever, or back end, whatever they call it? Or do I have to understand product development? So if you can understand all those things, it puts you at that point of having value. And when you say somebody of value, it is not vague. Value means that you have substance to trade. You have something that people can learn from. You have something that when you communicate it, people can learn from it. So value is not just value somewhere. Value is value stems from, sorry, value is the result of your content, or is the result of how much capacity you've built over time. Because if you don't have capacity, you can't have value to offer. So, and in that step, we also have the place of learning. Do you just know things that your lecturer just teach you in class, or you go further to read? When I was in school, this is not even bragging. For many of my courses, when I'm to answer the questions, I don't answer the questions like normal students. Okay, what is this? And I'm going. See, there's some times that I've had to answer questions, say things like according to the World Economic Forum. That's because I have learned. I do research. So when you hear me say things like according to the World Economic Forum, or according to UNESCO, or according to United Nations, you will know that this guy has content. So read wide, read books as a student. Towards my final year, I made sure I was buying book every month. Those are the things that help you become valuable, because when you read, you become knowledgeable. Okay, and also in the place of value, see, it is one thing for you to have value. It is one thing for you to have evidence of value, and it is that evidence of value that would allow other people to want to connect with you and want to tag along with you, or give you an opportunity to be in their space. And a good way to build evidence of value as a student is through branding, social media. Identify that social media platform on. Okay, so if you're a fashion person, or you have interest in fashion, be on Instagram and all that. So once you can share your work, create content that shows the value that you have on that space. When you are communicating with people that are outside there, you can always refer them to your page, or refer them that, okay, I have done it over time. And sometimes they won't see what you do. Okay, and once they see what you do, they see your status. These people want to connect with you. They know that you're a person of value. And once you've connected with these top people as well, and you have their number, what would they be seeing on your status? Is it what would they be seeing? Is it you jumping on one train to the other? I have had a number of times that top people that I look up to send me a DM and say, "Well done, you're doing well," or keep going. It means that they follow my story, they follow me online. That is what it does for you. So you must follow all those steps, and it will help you to be a person of value. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Steven. So, to become a person of value, you need to identify that one thing you want to do with your life and run with it. And from there, you could keep on building the skill set that you need to become a person of value. That's well noted. Sir, before I go into the next question will be going to Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Godfrey, hope you're with us. So, like for those that are just joining us, drop a message, drop a comment of where you're joining us from, like your name and where you're joining us from, and also like your name and where you're joining us from, and also if you have any questions at all for any of our speakers, and for me as well, or for our company as well, like this would be a very good point to also drop it at the comment section, and we'll take note of it and carry on with it as the section continues. The question might come from being a student, might come from being an entry-level professional, it might come from the area of business, it might come from the area of freelancing, like anything at all, the goal at the end of the day is to help you become an industry leader, a career leader, or a business leader. It can even come from personal development. Like Godfrey here is a success coach. It can come from anything at all. So please feel free to drop your questions as we continue with this section. So now for Mr. Godfrey, I have a question for you. So I would love to ask, I'm curious, like you've come a long way as a success coach, you've come a long way as a business person. So like how were you able to balance school and also make massive impacts in the business world and beyond? Like, because it's not easy for a lot of students. So, like, how were you able to still, like, with the school load, schoolwork, and everything, how were you able to balance it and make more massive impact in the business world as well?
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Awesome. Though I can't see the chat, I don't know. I would have loved to see the chats to know what's going on in the chats to be sure that
Okay.
our audience, yeah, really responding. But I'm sure you can see the chat from your end. Is there a way I can see what's going on in the chats from here? I've tried
Yes,
to
yes.
click on it.
Like, I'm dropping the messages right now. Are you seeing them?
Just a second. Not yet.
Okay, I'll do my best to fix that. But then we can
Okay.
continue. But then they are following up. I'm seeing the chats from my end.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. All right, guys. So good evening once again. My name is Ifeanyi Godfrey, and I really appreciate this opportunity. All right. So you're talking about balance, how I was able to balance, yeah, schoolwork and the things I had to do for myself, for my career, business, and all. I started business on campus. I started building my personal brand and career on campus as a success coach. I had a business, you know, I made my first 1 million naira making shawarma in school as a 200 level undergraduate. From my room, I didn't have a physical space, you know. I didn't have huge capital. I had only 35,000 there, and I used it to start making shawarma from my room. So I just watched a YouTube video. If you know the opportunities we have today, the opportunities that social media and the internet generally has provided for us today, I can tell you, no student ought to be broke. Okay. So I thought of a business to start. I tried a couple of businesses that failed, trust me, right? But this one, I started it, and yeah, by God's grace, it has been on and it has been amazing. So, how I balanced schoolwork and I would say that I fell for that. Okay. And when I mean I fell for that, from as a freshman on campus, I think up to my 200 level and I think early 300 level, I still wasn't good at time management. I wasn't so good at understanding priorities. I still had the procrastination issues, which is one of the things that led me into most of the things I'm doing right now. Because I really don't. One thing about me is I don't like people repeating the same mistakes I've made. So it has been something. It has been a part of me for a very long time to find a way to always teach people whenever I learn something. You get. So I really fell for that in my 100 level, 200 level. I did not have the right balance. And then when I started learning, when I started reviewing things, reviewing my life and all this, I came to find out that there's really nothing like balance. I mean, when we talk about balance, we're talking about trying to fix everything at the same time. Okay, trying to ensure that nothing at the same level, same attention and all to everything. For me, it's not about balance, it's about priorities. It's really not about balance. Okay, so even if you're a student, you should just need to understand that it's not about balance. I was invited to speak to some final year students. As a final year student, I was invited to speak to some of my colleagues, right, in the fellowship during their final year dinner or so. And someone asked almost the same similar question, saying if you have an exam the following day, you have a night vigil in church, which one should you do? Should you stay back at home to read, or should you go for your night vigil? I'm like, everything cannot be equally important
at the same time. We need to get that straight. Okay? Everything cannot be equally important at the same time. So divide your attention based on your priorities. Know exactly what is important per time. And when I'm talking about this, I'm not saying it's something you do in a month or a week or a year. It's something you do every day. So I mean, every day you wake up, what do? You set your priorities right. What is most important for today? I call them MIT, most important tasks. If you've been my student in any of my programs, Accountability Mastery Program, Peak Productivity Challenge, or my one-on-one coaching, I must have taught you MIT, most important tasks. So every morning I wake up, right, I have built it as a habit to always ask myself, what are the 3 most important things I can achieve today? So there might be a whole day that schoolwork is not even important. Trust me, a whole day that schoolwork, and I know that this whole day, these 24 hours, maybe I just have one class I know that I can really do without attending that class, and I focus on my business. You get what I mean? So it's not about trying to give equal attention to everything, trying to find a balance to everything. Okay, what you simply need to do is what? It's called daily discipline. Daily discipline. I mean, I can spend the whole day talking about this. Daily discipline. The man, what's his name now? The guy that wrote Atomic Habits, James Clear. James Clear says we don't rise to the level of our goals, right? We fall to the level of our system, of our discipline. So it's important that as a student, no matter, you see, you can do everything and be good at it. You can do everything. I mean, I started correcting the mistakes I made in my 100 level, 200 level, in my 300 level and 400 level. Okay, so as at 100 level, 200 level, I was still not good at, I can use the word striking a balance, right? Knowing what is important per time. So I still fell for missing classes, not preparing adequately for exams, having poor grades and all of that. And at the same time, business lacking in my business, spiritual life, and all. Okay, but guess what? Like I said, as time went on, I began to learn. And then I realized that, okay, it's not about trying to just give the same attention to everything. It boils down to what? Priorities. And this is what you must do every day. I need to stress on that. It's not what you say, okay, this throughout this month now. Yeah, you can also do that. You can also say throughout this month, I want to focus a whole lot on my spiritual life. But please, there's something called the Pareto principle. Okay, the 80-20 rule. Understand what you need to give 80% of your attention to on a daily basis. Because if you do this daily, it helps you keep a track record of how your life goes. Everything you want to achieve next year, the life you're dreaming for, when it finally comes, it will still happen in a day. We live our lives on a daily basis. Okay, so if you want to strike a balance, if you want to be able to have that good grades, right? Still do business, for those of you who want to do ministry on campus, for those of you who want to do whatever it is, you want to start building your personal brand on campus, whatever you want to do, simply remember this, that every single day you wake up, what do? You ask yourself, what are the 3 or 4 most important things I can give my attention to? I should give my attention to that drives me closer to the person I want to be. When I started doing this, my productivity multiplied. It did not increase. It did not add. It exponentially increased. I'm telling you, when I started learning how to, on a daily basis, set my priorities right, make the right decisions, know exactly what I need to give my time and attention to on a daily basis. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So it helped me streamline my focus on a daily basis. It helped me streamline my energy on a daily basis. It's helped me streamline my attention on a daily basis. And with that, I was able to maximize a lot of things. So that's number one thing I would say. It's all about priorities. Okay, it's all about priorities, and it's something you have to do on a daily basis. Okay, something you have to do on a daily basis. Then number 2 is about leverage. So if you really want to, maybe I could still use the word balance. Get a balance, and just like Mr. Steven has talked about, building the right network while on campus, becoming valuable while on campus. One thing you need to think about is leverage. Okay, Leverage is important. And when I mean leverage, I mean what is at your disposal right now that you can take advantage of. Trust me, it's something a lot of students have not thought about. Mr. Stephen, when I got into school, Mr. Stephen, can you hear me? I want to say something. Yeah, when I got into school and I saw, like you were talking about 60,000 students in your university, I checked the population of the University of Benin, over 70,000. I was crazy. I was like, God, see money. No, I'm telling you the truth. I say, see opportunity, see people. Because one of my mentors taught me that where 2 or 3 are gathered, there's money in their midst. There's money in their midst. So I said, how can I leave the University of Benin? And what I want to do after school is also to impact young people. That's what I want to do after school. But the university has done one thing for you. It has already bridged that gap of you trying to reach out to a lot of them. It has created the platform already. It has, how do I say this now? It has solved one problem for you, bringing the young people together. You have them in your classroom, you have them in class, in church, you have them in your hostel, you have them when you go out on the streets in school, you have them everywhere. So these same young people you are thinking of impacting after school, what are you doing while you are now on campus? So understanding leverage is important. So I said, this is an opportunity. I have to leverage this. Okay. So if you really want to make impact, if you really want to live a life that you can call a balanced life, you need to ask yourself. A man says, I think it's Steve Harris that talked about, it's not what you have and don't use, it's what you have, but you don't know how to use. Okay. Or it's not what you don't have, yeah? It's not what you don't have, but rather it's what you have, but you don't know how to use it. Your leverage on campus might be time. Right now, the leverage you might have will be time. And when I mean time, I mean quality time. You know, I can stay 3 days without going to class. I will not fail. I can stay 3 days without start stepping out of my room. I will not still fail. What you might have on campus might be time. And you don't even know what to do with it. You just sleep, you wake up, you watch movies, you go and gist, you go and play ball for guys, ladies, so think about the leverage you have on campus and make sure you take advantage of it, whatever at all it can be. At least I've mentioned these 2 things. One, you have access to young people that are the future of tomorrow. Because I love the way Apostle Seman says. Apostle Seman said, these people that have become great, right? You've already seen their future. You've already seen that they're already great. But the people you need to focus on are these guys who you don't even know where they're going to tomorrow. You don't know if your roommate is the next president of this country. You don't know if that's your next door neighbor in your hostel. Hey, Jesus. Was he Pastor Apostle Mike Oroko that was talking about a classmate of his or so that was still saying, we were in class together. What are you doing with your life? You don't, hey God. So think about the leverage you have around you and make sure you exploit it. Okay? So it was one thing that helped me. Right from my 100 level, I started asking myself, what am I going to do with 70,000 people that are around me every day? Hey God. If I leave the University of Benin, I may not have this same opportunity. It will cost me money, it will cost me time, it will cost me effort to gather this kind of crowd. But university has done that for me already. So what do I need to do? Come on, take advantage. And I started thinking. I started my business on campus making shawarma. I didn't have a spot. I didn't have a space to make the shawarma. But I realized that guys, students are everywhere. You can still go and deliver the shawarma to them. And that's what I did. Made a flyer, put it out there. If you want shawarma, call me. And guess what? Guys started calling. I started making deliveries. And the first time I saw 1 million naira in my account, I was making shawarma from my room in school. Okay? From my room. And my room was very small, but I divided it into 2. Put my bed one side. And I wish I could show you guys the picture. I still have to save the picture for future reference because I know one day I'm going to be speaking on United Nations platform and I will need to have evidence. We cannot go there, explain. You know that kind of thing. So please think about the leverage you have, right? And please make sure that before you leave, I mean, it's so sad that it's after you now leave school, you now begin to count the opportunities you lost. Oh no, come on. It's sad. So if you're well, I wish, hey God, sincerely. So let me stop there because of time. So these are the 2 things I will talk about. If you really want to balance. Okay, if there's anything called balance for me, number one is priorities. Every day, wake up and ask yourself, what is most important today? That day, what might be most important is for you to spend time with God. What might be most important is for you to spend some time and brood on your business, think on your business, connect with people, right? What might be most important that day is for you to spend time in the library and cover up courses that maybe you have missed and all of that. So please do this on a daily basis and then think.
Hello, Mr. Godfrey, are you still with us?
I think he's having challenges with his network.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, while we wait for him to join us back, okay, so like as we wait for him to join us and then we continue what we were saying. So Mr. Steven, I would love to ask you, still speaking on balance. Now,
Okay.
how have you been, like how do you balance handling the pressure from the four walls and my personal life? Like how do I balance the pressure from the four walls and my personal life? And okay, Mr. Godfrey, are you back? Mr. Godfrey, can you hear me clearly? Okay, so Mr. Steven, how do I balance handling the pressure from the four walls and my personal life with also building a global brand? So how do you think like young people should handle that pressure of the four walls or whatever they're constrained by
Okay.
and their personal life pressures and then building a global brand?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. See, we usually have this thought that pressure is much when you're in school. I hear them saying, "How do I balance academics with personal life?" See, one of the problem is that you are separating them. Okay, the fact that you are separating everything, my academic life, this one life. See, you just it as your life, and because they are all connected to you. If you are saying my academic life, you are making it feel like it's one different thing entirely. My spiritual life is one different thing entirely. This one life is one the same. Put everything together because even when you are done with school, the challenge or the question of balance will still come. The question of how do I balance my life with work life and family life? Okay, so the question is still the same thing. When you're done with school, you see it's not asking how do I balance my family life with demands from home, with demands from that and all that. So when I was in school, I was a student. I was a student. I was the president of Achievers Consortium. Okay, on campus, I was an executive assistant to someone working remotely. I was active in church in the media team, and in the media team, I lead the design team of the media arm. Okay, I was a core leader at my department, not the political leader. Okay, I was volunteering for organizations. I volunteered for Alt Prize. Okay, later in my third level, I was a member of the American Society for Quality. Getting to the final year, all these things were still standing while I was volunteering for organizations. I was working remotely, 2 different jobs remotely, and I was also the vice president of my final year community in church. So how did I balance everything? And I still finish with good grade. See, I usually tell people that if I miss a class and you attend that class,
Bluetooth has been disconnected.
if I miss a class and you attend that class, I will still pass that course, or I will still come and teach you what was taught in that class. That's because I have learned balance. I knew my strength. Okay, and all that was still happening while I was building my brand online. all that was still happening while I travel from my school to speak at different venues. At times I speak on campus, at times I speak off campus. I remember I have traveled to Abeokuta from school to go and to speak, but I was still doing well. So I can have all those life, okay, all those activities and engagements, and you that the only thing you do with your time in school is to go to class and come back, and I will still excel more than you academically. Oh, I didn't had. I already take tutorial in school. During test and exam, I organize tutorials for my course mates and faculty members. So when I don't want to organize tutorial, people message me, Stephen, how far? This course is coming. How far? What will you do for us? Help us. So, but I was still, and I still passed too. I finished with a good grade. I'm not saying like grade. I finished a good grade. It may not be first class. I finished a very strong 2-1. I can even borrow you points from there to go and develop your own grade. So the issue of balance is something that you would always face, because after school you still say, how do I balance my spiritual life and work life? How do I balance my work life and relationship life? So that is what you have to understand. And I was still building my brand on LinkedIn. But your ability to be able to manage all those things is what will make you a strong person and ready for life after school. Because by the time you want to work somewhere, they start asking you, so do you mean that you did all those things when you're in school? And then I did it. You say, how did you do that? So it gives your potential employer or investor that you can get a hang of whatever you need to do when you're working there. See, one of the questions that my current employer asked me was, so Stephen, with all the things that you do, how are you able to manage your commitment with us here and other activities? And I told them, when I was in school, I was doing this and that, and I still did well. How much more now? So those were things that built me. Okay, so now connecting it with building a personal global brand. See, personal branding is very important. Okay, your personal brand offline and online are very important. Because when you talk about personal brand, a personal brand or a global brand, what comes to mind is I want to have social media accounts. See, you might have a social media account and still not have a personal brand. A personal brand is someone that people recognize as a thought leader in his field, or as someone who is doing exceptionally well and offering value in his field. So you can see, to move from being someone who has a social media account to being someone who has a personal brand takes a process of identifying your strengths and tying whatever you are doing on campus and off campus to what you do online. So when I was in school, what I share online is basically my journey as a student. I talk about my engagement in activities. I talk about maybe one event I'm speaking at. I talk about things that affect me as a student. And that was how I was able to build my brand. And the name Future Minister of Education was coined when I was in school. My first 3-4 awards were gotten as a student. The first time I had to travel from Lagos to go and get an award was I was in 300 level. I was nominated for an award with celebrities. And my evidence for that nomination was the track record I have built and my track record online. So as a student, nothing stops you from doing all that. Nothing stops you. Okay. Now, over the last 8 months, while I do my personal work, I think almost every month this year I've traveled. Almost every month of this year, I have had a trip to make. Okay, I've had about 8 physical speaking engagements this year. I've traveled to about 6 schools this year, 6-7 universities just this year alone. And I'm still thriving at work. My spiritual life, I'm still on it. My academic life, I still read. If I turn my camera, you will see books that are on my table. And I still buy more to read. So the issue of balance is like my guy just said, Godfrey just said, you have to learn the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. Understand what to do per time. That is what makes you a productive person. Understanding what to do part time. See, everything cannot need your attention at once. Everything can need attention at once. When I was in school, in fact, during my exam, see, during exams, it was not an excuse for me not to function well as an executive assistant to my boss. I was writing tests and I was still doing activities for my boss as a chief of operations. So I was even the chief of operations of an organization. So all those things were not preventing me to do that. It is understanding my priorities. So exam can be on. Everybody might be reading, but I might not be reading. Doesn't mean I'm not ready for the exam. I can remember during my final year, people were ready for exam, going for night class. If I go for night class, what I was doing was writing my book. Because I published my book during my final year. In fact, I think a day after my sign out was when I released my book. So it is understanding what to do part time and committing yourself to do it. Is it there's something called Pomodoro effect? Is it Pomodoro or thereabouts, where you can dedicate 10 Pomodoro? Okay.
Yeah.
See, don't think about things like I want to do all these things for 1 hour. If you think about things you want to do, it will overwhelm you or you want to die. Just think about I want to do this thing for 10 minutes. Shut everything down. Focus on it for 10 minutes. And once you've done it for 10 minutes, say, okay, I want to take it for that 10 minutes. Before you know it, you've done something for 1 hour and you're productive. So with that, you can build your global brand. You can be productive everywhere. You can also achieve academic excellence. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And like as you said, like I think the one thing that I've really picked from what you said that stood out for me is that everything, like I know most of us, we try to separate. I know me, I think like it's a mistake I used to make, but then from what you're saying, I'm going to rethink it. Like we separate our personal life from our business lives to our financial lives and everything, or even our spiritual lives and the rest. But then when you actually think of it, all of them are intertwined to make us who we are. So instead of trying to separate them, like look at it from a standpoint of life and have your priorities per time. That makes a lot of sense. So thank you so much, Mr. Steven.
Yeah,
So
thank you very much.
like Mr. Fine, I want to ask a question now. Like I'm sure this is a question that is on the minds of so many young people. And at some point I also had this problem. Now, what were the times, were there any times that you felt you were too young for the kind of impact you wanted to create, and how did you handle it?
Okay. There are times I felt I was too young. Okay. Let me just recounting my experience. I think I wouldn't say I felt too young. I think the only problem I had that would be like imposter syndrome. That's feeling maybe too young, right? Feeling not qualified for the kind of things I wanted to do. So, but I think I didn't. I wouldn't say I really had that kind of a problem. I don't think I actually did. The only problem I think I had was the problem of feeling like I was rushing things. Okay, I'm the kind of person. I'm the kind of person who likes to execute on the spot. I mean, when an idea comes now, I don't care to know how that idea will be executed. I don't care to know how it's going to turn out. I want to take action immediately. Okay. Yeah, it led me into a lot of trouble because I mean, there are several times I took a lot of actions that I'm like, guy, if you don't calm down, no, but there are also times when I was very grateful. I'm very grateful that I took action on a lot of things. They helped me to learn. Okay, they helped me to learn. I mean, the learning was more important than anything else. So I think I wouldn't say personally I had an issue with imposter syndrome, feeling that maybe I was too young or too early for the kind of impact I wanted to make. I think for me, the challenge I had was feeling like always. Sometimes I always get to that point. I'm like, if I need to calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. You can't be doing this. You wait first. Now do this. Do this first. When you're done with this, you can. So I always felt I was moving faster than myself. That kind of a thing. I was kind of ahead of myself, trying to do a lot of things at the same time. overloading myself with a lot of work and all of that. And I will talk about how I dealt with that before I'll talk about those who might be going through the situation where they are feeling too young or something. Well, for me, how I dealt with that situation is I always have to make out time to reassess. Okay. Whenever I find myself being overwhelmed, so a lot of things going on in my mind at the same time, feeling like maybe I was being ahead of myself. I was trying to, do a lot of things at the same time and all. I usually make out time to reflect, and it helped me a great deal. Now, what I'm saying is not something I did once in a year. No, I did this thing constantly. Okay, every time I feel overwhelmed, I know it's time for me to retreat, kind of. Not like maybe go for a 3 or 4 days retreat. No, it can be just an hour. And I remember a particular place in school, right? I still visit it up till now. Around, for those of you who might be in Uniben, the former VC's Lodge, as if you're going towards the health center, that place is always quiet and very serene. So I will just plug in my earpiece or my AirPod, and I'll take a walk around there in the evening, okay? And I just clear my head. And I'm just typing on my phone. As ideas are coming, I'm typing. It helps me to reboot. It helps me to quickly reassess things, review things, right? And know what is important at this time and what I need to focus on and all of that. So, because, I think it was John C. Maxwell that said that, how did they put it? He said, experience is not the best teacher, but it's evaluated experience that is the best teacher, okay? So evaluated experience is very important. So after a period in your life, it's important to take out time, do a review, reassess. It helps you to find clarity. Very important. It helps you to find clarity. It helps you to know what you ought to be doing at every point in time. Abraham Lincoln also said that. How did they put it again? He said that. This is what I'm trying to remember now. An unexamined life is not worth living, right? Unexamined life is not worth living. So even as a student, Mr. Stevens said something very important. Being a student does not excuse you from being valuable. Oh God. I wish you understand the importance of that statement he made. You might have to frame it. Frame that quote, put it somewhere in your wall, in your hostel, or in your room where you're going to be seeing it every day. That being a student does not exempt you from being valuable, from building value into yourself. Okay. So if you're having imposter syndrome, if you're feeling that what you're doing now, maybe you're not qualified for it, maybe you're too young for it, and you want to just drop the pen, that point where you're like, let's wait for the future. That is where I want to come. That's exactly the point I want to make. There is no future. Okay? I'm grateful that I did the things I did when I did them. I'm super grateful because you don't know how it acted as a catalyst to my growth. You don't know how. Of course, there's the place where you have to know what to do part-time. That's why I have talked about evaluating your life once in a while, taking a review, doing a reassessment of what is going on in my life now. What am I doing? Is this important? Essentialism, right? Knowing the essential and there's always the urgent and important things. Okay, it may look urgent, but it may not be what important. Okay, so if you're able to differentiate what is urgent, it looks urgent, but it's not important, and what is important, right? Even though it may not look urgent, but it's important, then find out what is now important and urgent, and focus on that, and make sure you execute on it. Okay, so if you're feeling that I'm not yet qualified for what I'm doing, that's called imposter syndrome. You need to understand that, hey, you are not going to be young forever. I heard, was it John Obidi? I can't remember exactly who made this particular statement, and it stuck into my head for many years now. You're not going to be young forever. The energy you have now, the time you have now, okay, you're not going to have it forever. So the earlier you try and fail, the better for you. So if you're feeling you're too young for the things you ought to be doing, for the impact you ought to be making, you may need to check history and find out that some people who made huge impact in their life were far younger than you are. There's this guy now who, what's his name? Kirikou. I don't know if you know Kirikou. One young, I don't know how old he is, but I don't think that guy is up to 10, 11 or so. I don't know. He just collected an award recently. When I saw, he has millions of followers on social media. He creates content. Okay, Emanuela, the content creator that went viral then and all. So, how old are you, and what makes you think you are too young to make impact? There is no future. I learned this from Mr. Ogochukwu. What's his something? I can't remember. There is no future. The future you are looking for is right here, right now. When that future comes, when tomorrow comes, we still call it what? Today. Okay? What do you want to be 2 years from now? When 2 years from now comes, it is still going to be called what? Today. So if you're having imposter syndrome and feeling that maybe you're too young, you're not qualified for the things you are doing right now, you want to leave the stage for others, you want to the spotlight is not for you. Now I'm not saying that you have to go into the whole early fame kind of thing, right? No, but just do the little. I'm not saying you have to have millions of followers and but if it happens, fine, right? But what I'm only saying is, in your little space, make sure that you are being of value. It's important. It helps you to learn faster. I mean, John Obidi says that there are no shortcuts in life, but you can follow. There are faster vehicles, right? And one of the faster vehicles I think is what taking action promptly. It helps you to learn faster. Okay, so that illusion of tomorrow I will do it has kept a lot of people in procrastination, low productivity, laziness, and all. So there is no time, there's no tomorrow. Okay, so and where you find the balance is in that place of always evaluation, that place of always evaluating things. So why I'm saying this now, a lot of people will be feeling, am I not going to rush things? Am I not going to be ahead of myself? I had that problem, but remember, how did I solve that problem? I always made out time to what? To reassess. And that's where you begin to find clarity. Because if you don't take action, you won't know what you are about. You won't know what your life is about. You won't figure out your life on time. The earlier you find what your path is and begin to work on it, the better for you. I don't know if I have been able to answer that question. But the earlier you find out what your path is and begin to work on it, the better for you. So please stop feeling you're too young. Stop feeling you're not up to the age or up to the whatever you're using to measure yourself. Whatever you're using to measure yourself, you should only measure yourself against your yesterday's self. Okay, not against what social standards say, what celebrity standards are, what your family is putting on you. No, do what works for you. Okay, do what is best for you. And if you find yourself at any point in time feeling overwhelmed, feeling lost, feeling confused, everyone got to that point. No one started off having everything figured out. There's no successful man out there that will tell you, man, I had it all figured out when I started. I knew I was going to be this. I knew I was going to do this. Nobody started off with a blueprint that was so crystal clear. Many people started off confused. In fact, an average successful man out there started off confused. Okay, so if you're feeling confused, you can ask Mr. Stephen. You can even ask Mr. Dan. Many of us started off confused, so it's okay to start off confused. All right, but as you take action and reevaluate, what happens? You find clarity. As you take action, you reevaluate, you find clarity. I hope that has been able to answer the question.
Yes, it has. It has truly answered the question. Just take action. So I hope you all can hear me, right? Okay, so
Yes, we can.
as I was saying, just taking action, because the truth is that you're not going to be young forever, and that's very true. So, Mr. Steven, I would love to throw the same question to you. Before we move on, I believe this whole you're too young to it's a problem, it's something that we have all faced at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
Just as Mr. Godfrey said, as much as he might not have had it personally, but then there are a lot of young people that want to build companies, want to build businesses, want to reach out to organizations, want to become the kind of reach the kind of levels that you and Mr. Godfrey have, and they have issues with. Okay, they feel like they are too young. Some even probably lie about their age or something. So, like, did you ever have a moment like this where you felt like you were too young? And like, if yes, like, what were you able to do about it? Like, what did you do in situations like this?
All right, thank you very much. Um, well, I would say that I have never for once thought I'm too young. Okay. Um, my only my only challenge at some point was thinking I was behind. I wasn't doing too well enough.
Wow.
Now, let me say that one of the things I say to my mentees that always stop with I'm too young, I will tell them, build so much value, get so much results, unbelievable results, that when they hear your age, they won't believe it. See, there is a certain level of excellence and result you will get that your age becomes so relevant to people that
Yeah.
people will not believe your age. So let your result do the talking. Don't focus on the age. Don't think about your age. Focus on getting so much thing done. See, let me even say this: age is an advantage. See, being young is an advantage. If you make your first million in your 20s, you'll be like, wow, you made his first million in your 20s. But if you make your first millions in your 30s, nobody pay attention to you.
Of course.
If you get your first award in your 20s, 19s, 20s, oh wow, he's doing well. But if you're getting your first award in your 40s,
Who cares?
it's not a surprise. Okay, so there is no that wow effect anymore. So instead of thinking about you being too young, think about how you can use your age to your advantage. There are a couple of young people I have worked with that, see, it was later on I found out their age. My personal assistant told me his age yesterday. I never knew it. I never asked for his age for once. And he was working with me. He told me his age yesterday, and I didn't believe it myself. I was like, how have you been doing? So I was asking myself a question now. How have you been doing all these things? I mean, you are so good at what you do that I have never for once thought about his age. So that's how it should be for you. So be so good that if you tell people that I'm just 20 something, that is a lie. Okay, I've been to places where people hear me and they said, man, you've done so much for yourself as a young person. I had a conversation with a senior official in camp, and he said he was amazed. He said, you've done all these things within this young age. He said you deserve a PhD. He said if you were in some countries, you'd have been given a PhD for what you've done. He said because truthfully, what you've done is in the space of 4-5 years. Some people who are PhD holders, they have not achieved it. I am not increasing my voice so much that I will get my university certificate. Okay. Alright. So don't say this anywhere. So your age should be your advantage. Yeah, I just put my age aside. And if anybody asking my age, I tell them freely, I don't hide my age. I'm 25. I don't hide it. What is there to hide? Because you can see Google and find it out online. So what's that the point? I need something you can find online. So never feel too young. Don't feel you're no good. And one problem young people usually have again is they get distracted. You're already on your own lane, but because someone else is now doing something better than you, or you think the person is cashing out, you don't want to abandon your own and not start pursuing that. See, The moment you start getting confused about things that you do, ask yourself, why did I start in the first place? See, if you don't have a why, everything you want to do must start with a why. Why am I doing this? You must establish a why statement. So that by the time the going gets tough, you would remember why you started. Let me tell you something that I think today was the first time I shared it in the session earlier this evening. I said that when I was towards my final year, I almost lost track of things. That was because a number of my friends, like people in my circle, they all were in the real estate space, selling real estate and auto dealership and all that and all. And I begin to ask myself, what are you doing to your life? So when I hear them talking about selling this property or the commission of this one and all that, or the possible commission you will get if you sell this property and all that, or the post screenshot of payment on their status, I'm like, God, am I a spawn? Am I a spawn? What am I doing in my life? Are you sure that this education thing I say I want to do, I am okay? So there was a tendency for me to want to abandon my own vision, abandon the things I want to do, because I feel that other young people are doing better than me. It's going to happen. See, as you grow up, you will discover that some of your peers are getting some notoriety faster than you. But instead of trying to feel bad, learn from how they are doing it. Learn strategies from them. I might not be selling real estate, but I have learned some qualities from those my friends that sell real estate. I've learned how audacious they are, how any conversation they have, people need to selling. I've learned how to sell from them, and I'm applying it to my own personal field. I have friends that are doing stuff that are closing deals and all that. So instead of me competing, I partner. Never compete with those you should be partnering with. Never compete with your young people like you. Partner with them. Learn from them. Don't be too big to learn, and don't be too young to learn. Always be ready to learn. See, every one of us, even down to the Bill Gates, the day they start doing something for the first time, they're a learner in that field. You haven't thought of it before. The day you start doing something for the first time, you're just learning. So we're all learners. So never feel that someone else's dream is more important than yours. Do you know what I tell people? I tell people that my job as an educator is critical to the national development of Nigeria. I tell people that my job is very critical to the things I do, my goal, my vision is very critical to Africa moving forward. So whatever you do, make whatever you do feel like the best job on earth. Again, make whatever you do feel like the best job on earth. Make your goal, your vision feel like the best thing that could ever happen to anybody. So it will make people even wonder, why is this boy so crazy about what he does? That should be your goal as a young person. So whenever I go somewhere, I say future minister of education. Somebody once told me that, why are you using future minister of education? He asked me why. He said, how are you sure you'll be the future minister of education? I don't care if I'm the future minister of education. But in my lifetime, I will make incredible contributions to the educational sector in Nigeria and Africa. So let your drive be your drive. Let your drive be what drives you. Okay? Otherwise, you're being too young, you get carried away, you forget what you're doing, you'll be depressed, you'll be what again? What do people usually say these days? I have mental health issues. They'll say I have mental health. You have a lot of it. So don't feel too young. Use your age as an advantage, because at the end of the day, nobody cares how old you are. Our only concern is, can you deliver on the job? If you can deliver on the job, then why not? What's my business with your age? Who cares? Will you give me more money? Yes. Then forget about your age. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Steven. Like as you said, be so good at what you do that nobody cares about your age. That's something that everyone should take home today. And it shouldn't just be, it doesn't just end with age. Be so good at what you do, build as much value as possible that nobody cares about your age, cares about where you're coming from, cares about anything about you. But then, like, what exactly you can deliver, what exactly you know how to do. Like, I believe in the last few months, in the last few years, I've worked with people that, like, when you hear them talk, and then maybe you now get, maybe they're posting on their birthday and they are like, okay, I just turned 17, I just turned 16. You're like, like, is it the same person I was working with? Like, how did they manage to start so fast? And like, how have they been able to come so far in such a short period of time? And that's one thing you need to know as a young person, that no two people are the same. No two people get opportunities at the same time. Like whatever time that you found yourself getting your opportunities, whatever time you found yourself making the impact, as far as you have access to the values, as far as you have access to the opportunities, as far as you have access to the resources, age should be something you shouldn't even think of. Will there be people that will judge you based on your age? Maybe. But then that's probably because you have not built the amount of value that makes your age irrelevant yet. So until then, keep building your values. So, Godfrey, I have one major final question for you because we have really run out of time. We should be rounding up in the next 15-20 minutes. So, Mr. Godfrey, are you with me? Okay, so what would you say is your greatest motivation for wanting to see young people succeed, and how can we reflect such on in our own lives?
My greatest motivation of seeing young people succeed. But first and foremost, I won't say there is one major motivation. Looking at my life in retrospect, I think is being there for people, helping people become a better version of themselves, assisting people, teaching people is something that just comes natural to me. This may sound weird, right? Because everyone has one unique story about how they went through the tunnel, about how like I'm not trying to say I was born with a silver spoon. If I tell you my background, hey, just the play. If I tell you where I'm coming from, okay. But in the midst of all of that, okay, there's one thing actually I'm going to share. But before I say that, it's just something that comes natural to me. I mean, right from being a little boy, my tender age, my teenage years, I was still a teenager when I became a Sunday school teacher in the adult church. Many people didn't know I was still a teenager. Many people didn't know I was just I think I was just like 17 or 18 thereabout. And that's because I just had this passion to always teach people, help people learn. If anyone who comes around me will know one thing about me, I would have dragged you close. I would have asked you, what is your goals? What are you doing? How it just comes natural. Okay. So and then I found different ways to communicate the value, either by organizing an event, um, writing a book, speaking on, organizing a training, my online courses and programs and all, right? So one thing is what I would say is something that has always been there for me. So I won't literally say that, okay, probably because I had to climb the highest mountains and swim through the deepest oceans. And then when I came out, I was like, no, let me go and change my world, right? So my story, I won't say that's exactly how it happened. So, but for me, growing up, I've always had that zeal. Despite I was still going through a lot of things, like trust me, I went through a lot of things in my life. I mean, I'm someone who struggled with addiction of porn and masturbation for 13 years until God helped me about 3 years ago to come out of it. Okay, I'm someone who I and my parents. My dad had 7 boys. My late father of blessed memory. We lived in an uncompleted building when things got so tough. Okay, I mean, you hear my story and my family story, you cry for us, sir. But there's one thing about me. One thing about me is I always don't want people to go through what I've gone through. I mean, people repeating the same mistakes I made. So I think it's one thing that fuels my motivation to do the things I do, right? As much as, first of all, like I said, it's something that's already there naturally. But one thing that if I always think about, if I always remember is I always want to teach, talk, share something, create a content, do something is because, I mean, what is life then if people have to go through the same thing you've gone through, okay, and then you have the way out, you have the solution. You have to jump into the same pit you jump into. You could have simply helped them avoid that by just, sharing it as a simple WhatsApp status. As a simple WhatsApp status. I mean, I'm grateful for the things I have read in books, just like Mr. Stephen was talking about. I read books. I show my library too. I read books. I'm grateful for the courses I took online and all of that. So it's just one thing that I love doing as well. I love helping people avoid the mistakes that I have made, And then I think there's a second part to the question, right? About how what, Mr. Dan, how can use it or something about in our personal life. Let me get that second part of the question. Can you hear me, sir? So while I wait for Mr. Dan, so I think that second part of the question was talking about how you can actually utilize. I'm trying to get there's something in the second part of that question which I'm trying to remember. So, but all the same, I would say one thing about me as well that drives me. Okay, in fact, that I have a vision of my future. I teach a lot about procrastination. I'm one person who can literally help you. Give me 21 days of your life. And when I mean give you, I'm not saying I'll be Jesus. I'll be your Jesus of 21 days. No, just give me 21 days, and you're serious and ready to learn. I can practically show you how to break out of procrastination. I don't care how long you struggle with it. I don't care what are your limitations. I can show you how to become increasingly productive after 21 days. It's something I'm so proud of. That whatever you pay for it, if after 21 days you're still procrastinating, it's either you're not serious, but if you're really serious and you learned what I teach and you practice everything, and you're still procrastinating, I'm ready to refund you your money, even double of it. Okay? So one thing about me is I have a clear picture. I hope I'm not the one that is even disconnected. So can you guys hear me? Mr. Steven, was I disconnected for a while? Mr. Dan, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Was I disconnected for a while?
I don't know. I think it was just the audio, but then
Okay.
everything's okay.
Everything is okay. All right. So I was answering the first question, which is what motivated me. Right? I mentioned a few things. One is something that was there naturally. Number two is I love helping people avoid mistakes I have made. Right. And number three is I have a clear picture of my future. I mean, a clear picture of what I want my life to look like. So is one thing that keeps me on the go. I know exactly what I want to achieve in my life. I was telling my students that I've written my autobiography. I know exactly what I want to be said about me when I'm finally gone. I'm not afraid of death, but I can't die until I fulfill my purpose. But on my grave, I know what exactly. I'm not going to be surprised when people are saying things about me. I'm not, because I intentionally create my reality. I'm intentionally creating the kind of life I want to live. Okay, so it's one thing that keeps me on my toes, one thing that keeps motivating me, one thing that keeps pushing me. So when a lot of people find themselves losing motivation, when a lot of people find themselves procrastinating, being lazy around the things they ought to be taking action on, one of the primary cause of procrastination is the fact that, or loss of motivation, is the fact that you've not locked in on your goals, on your dream, the life you want to live. You have not locked in on it. And when I mean locked in, like you have not become one with it. Because one thing about life is whatever you want to achieve, first you have to become it. Okay? So whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to get in life, whatever goal you want to achieve, first you have to become that goal, then you attract it. Because we don't acquire things, we don't achieve things, we attract things. The best things in life are attracted by the person you are becoming. And one way to easily do this is to ensure that subconsciously you have your goals in your mind. And I mean, there's a conscious and subconscious mind. I can't go into all of that now, but understanding how to program yourself, program your goals into your mind, into your subconscious mind, so that you can constantly stay conscious of the life you want to create. Okay, so it's one thing I've done to myself. I have a vision board in my room here. I have my goals written down. I review them on a daily basis. All right, it's one thing that will help you stay motivated, because until your goals have become subconscious, it will be very difficult for you to take action on them. You always find yourself procrastinating on your goals if your goals have not become subconscious. And one way to do that is meditation, having a vision board, reviewing your goals on a daily basis, and a few other practices around there, So yeah, I would say then there's a second part to the question, Mr. Dan. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what's the second
part? The second part was how can we reflect this in our own lives?
Okay,
That's the
so I think
motivation.
I think the primary way to reflect this, if anyone comes to me and says, "Sir, I am losing motivation, I am procrastinating," I always there's a word I'm trying to remember now. Indiscipline and all. Let me tell you the truth. The reason is simple. You have not become one with the goal you want to achieve. It's simple. Now, it's not about knowing what you want to do, knowing the kind of life you want to live. It's about being conscious of it. Consciousness is different because everything about us is conscious. It's what you are more conscious of that you will attract. If you read not the Science of Getting Rich, I think I saw that in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He talked about that those who become wealthy are those who stay conscious of wealth. Those who attract money are those who are conscious of money. Okay? So you have to stay conscious of your goals, of your future. When I learned this, my whole life changed. Because I used to set goals and I faltered. We have all been there. New Year resolution. You know what I'm talking about. Stop looking at me as if I'm the only one that has set New Year resolution. And by March, you are not resoluting anything. All right? So one way to deal with procrastination and loss of motivation is find a way. It's what I teach in the Peak Productivity Challenge. Find a way to ensure that you keep your goals top of mind. That's one way you become one with your goals. Because what you're procrastination is simply you not taking action. And how do you take action? You take action with your body. Okay? So it simply means that you want your goals to be able to motivate you, to move you to take action. Okay? So it is programming your goals into because what drives your action is your subconscious mind. Your body and your subconscious mind, they are one. Don't ever forget this in your life. That your body and your subconscious mind, they are one. So whatever your subconscious mind picks, it immediately becomes an action. That means your action will immediately demonstrate it in your action. Whatever is programmed into your subconscious mind. Okay, so you have a default presently. The reason why you are procrastinating is you don't know that you are operating on a programming. Okay, an average African is programmed to be poor. So no matter what you try to do, if you have not changed that programming, your result will keep reflecting your programming. your results will always keep reflecting your programming. So the first thing you want to do is change your programming. And how do you change your programming? It's very simple. Your subconscious mind is what you need to pay attention to. And how do you change the programming in your subconscious mind? Daily meditation, daily reflection. You need to have your goals fixated. I mean, fixed in your before you on a daily basis. So it's either you review your goals daily. If you check the most successful men, guess what? From the people I've listened to, Brian Tracy, Anthony Robbins, Grant Cardone, you know what? These guys have said over and over again that you have to rewrite your major goals on a daily basis. Rewrite your major goals every day, or you review them. Review it means pick up where you've written them down and go over them on a daily basis. What you keep doing is, what you're doing is, you are programming them into your subconscious. You're allowing yourself to become one with those goals. Okay? You're allowing yourself to become one with those goals. And once you do that consistently, what happens is, like I said already, it becomes fixated in your mind. And once that happens, something happens. It will begin to, your mind sends information to your body as a feeling. So when you wake up in the morning and you have things you want to do, but you don't feel like doing them, is because in your conscious mind, you know you want to do something, but in your subconscious mind, you have a different programming. So your body listens to your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind. So you've written that in January, you told yourself you're going to what? Make 10 million naira this year. But this is September, you've not made 1,000. It's because when you wake up every morning, your conscious mind knows that you want to make 10 million naira this year. In fact, you might have even forgotten because you can't even remember the last time you checked the goals at the beginning of the year. So, but let's assume this is January and you remember the goal. Your conscious mind knows you want to do this. But in your subconscious mind, which is the most important, which is what drives your action, right there are informations that keeps you poor about the kind of, about especially from your background, from how you grew up. You've heard that money does not grow on trees. Africa, things are hard and all of that. So those information, one way or the other, sponsors the wrong feeling in your body. So you want to take action, you know what you want to do, right? But you don't feel like doing it. So what you want to change is the programming in your subconscious mind. Do you get that? That's how you stay motivated. That's how you stay motivated, is to ensure that what you say you want to do is the same thing, the same information that is programmed in your. If you want to learn more about this, send me a DM on Facebook. If I go say, I will send you some materials, and maybe you can also enroll in my people or things, and where I teach this in depth, where I teach mind reprogramming in depth, and how you can stay constantly motivated for whatever it is you want to do. It's not what I can talk about in 2 or 3 minutes that I have here right now. Okay, but just you can study more about the subconscious mind, and you will know why you lose motivation. Okay, so that's just a bit of that.
Okay, Mr. Godfrey. Wow, that was really amazing. Like, I think we're almost about to go into a personal development section, because like that was like a whole new area on its own. Like the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. There are so many more questions I would love to ask you concerning that. But then because of the lack of time, I think we'll drop a link to your Facebook, as you said, so that just in case anybody has more questions on it, they can ask you. Because the next question I would have loved to ask is how, like, practically this subconscious mind that we have spoken about, like how do, like, to a learned, to a, like, if you're explaining it to a layman now, how do you practically make your body listen to your subconscious mind? How do you practically um like invest in, like, make these things? Okay, don't worry, like I think I'll bring up the question later on, and then others can, so because I know if I go into this now we might take a lot more time and than we allocated for this. So Mr. Steven, I would love to ask you, like, how do you build a global brand that creates impact and can provide income? And then the second part of, Mr. Steven, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you hear me? I'm with you. Can you hear me? our network.
Okay, Mr. Steven, please can you turn on your camera, or is it just
Yes,
from my end?
yes, it's on. It's from your hand.
Okay. Okay then. So I was asking, like, how do you, I have a question that's like, it's one question but in two or three parts. So how do you build a global brand that creates impact and can provide income, and where do you draw the thin line between income and impact?
That question. All right. First, how many minutes do I have for that question?
Okay, you have like 5 minutes or three 5 minutes because of how much time I've already gone.
All right,
Like,
because that alone is that
but
alone
then
is
you
a
can
full
take a
session.
lot more if necessary.
No, no problem. All right. How do you build a brand that makes impact, money, and where do you draw the line between impact and money? First, money is very important. There is a limit to the impact you can make if you don't have money. Okay, and deep down our mind of minds as humans, the reason why we are doing what we are doing is to make money. Okay, deep down our minds of minds, away from impacts. Even in making impact, you need a substantial amount of money. If you're running an NGO, you need substantial amount of money to drive that impact. Let's take, for instance, the work that Tunde Onokoya is doing with Chess in the Slum. That's a massive project, and your passion for solving problem can't solve that alone. You need money to make that happen. So, how do you build a brand that makes impact? First, impact is a result of something. Okay, let's say a moving trailer, for instance. A moving trailer is not the impact. When a moving trailer collides with a wall, you see the result on that wall, and that is the impact that moving trailer has on the wall. So your impact is the effect you have on something. So you can have a brand that doesn't have impact, and it can even have impact, which is effect, but that impact might be a negative one. So first, sorry, give me a moment. Can you hear me now? So first, your
Yes, we can hear
coming
you.
out should be to create value. For instance, let's take Tony Lumelu and Co. They are creating value with what they do in the business world, and it consequently leads to making impact. So now the whole point is having value. So even if you are building a brand, a global brand, the question is, what value is your brand offering? And close to value is money, wealth. Money follows value. When you create value, okay, it's metamorphoses into giving you financial gratification if you know how to do it. So those that are wealthy in our world that we know as wealthy people, what makes them wealthy is the value that they create, and that value goes on to impact our world. Take, for instance, Mark Zuckerberg. He started out as creating value to solve a problem, and the value he gave was creating a platform that connects people together. and that platform has now gone on to what become something that gives him wealth, and that platform has also gone on to become a platform that has impacted the world in so many ways. In the COVID-19, we were in our houses, in our homes and different spaces, attending church online, live streaming our church service on Facebook. That is the impact he has given us, but it all stemmed from what? Value, giving value. So the value that you give is what will impact the world around you. And don't let's even make it sound too big. Trying to impact the world, it might not be possible for it to impact the world. Let's start from impacting your local community, impacting your space, because it is from there that it goes further. If you understand the story of Tunde Onokoya that we know today, his impact story didn't just start from that global level that we know today. It started from a concerted effort towards giving value and solving problem in a local community, and it transcended, and now we are seeing the impact. So value first, then impact, and with value comes wealth, and wealth give you money. Okay, wealth give you money. You can be rich and have money. You can be wealthy and have money. Those that are wealthy are those that have learned, and they create value. They've created value that leads to financial reward. So you can still build a brand that would impact your world and give value and still give you financial rewards. So how then do you now draw the line between impact and money, right? Yes. The point of drawing a line would now be at the point where you are giving value. You have to understand that something might not give you immediate money. So your life should not be about, okay, will they give money immediately? Will they give money now? Or will they give money? Okay. So I remember that at time when I tell people that I'm going to speak somewhere, they will ask me, will you give plenty money? How much? They must have paid you a lot of money, that kind of stuff. But for me, it is important that you take care of me when I come to give you value, my value by as I give you my presence, okay, and speak to your audience and bless your presence. It is important that you take care of me and also give me value in return. But my own standpoint first is I'm invited to speak somewhere. What value am I adding to that audience? So you must know when to say, okay, at this point, this is value driven, or this is value, and at this point, this is money. Okay, and like I rightly said at the beginning, once you create value, it leads to impact, and once you create value, money follows value. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, like as you said, impact is a result of something close to value and wealth, and money, like, is a result of value. Impact is a result of what you can actually do when it comes to how valuable you are. And at the end of the day, with impact comes the money. So as much as you, sorry, can you all hear me? Am I being heard? Okay, so
Yes, you are being heard.
Okay, so as much as you would want to draw a thin line between impact and income, just as you said in the beginning of this section, like, these are not things that you can completely draw a line between, because with the impact comes money, and with the income, you can use it to create more impact. So you need both to do both. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to everyone here. So before we round up, so we are coming to the finale of our section. But before we round up, I would love to take out some questions from the comment section. If you have any question at all, whether in business, being a student, being an entry-level professional, being a coach, freelancer, and the rest, you can actually drop it on the comment section. So someone asked a question here. Like, how can you fire up your zeal, especially when you don't have anything motivating you to move on in your business? So like this person now doesn't have anything at all to motivate them. That's Melinda Mary asked this question. This person doesn't have anything at all to motivate them. So like Mr. Steven, because I know Godfrey already answered the question similar to this. So I'd love to also have your perspective on this. Like just in the next 2 minutes or in the next 1 minute, as we are really out of time, can you tell us like how to fire up your zeal or your motivation, especially when you don't have anything motivating in your business to move on in your business?
All right, thank you very much for that question. It is not just in business, even in your life. There are times that you would not find anything motivating, and let me not lie to you. There are days where I just feel like let me just be there. Let me just be there. So how do I fire up myself back again? I take a break. I take a break and I have a personal retreat. And my personal retreat, I'm not just wailing or crying, because crying doesn't solve anything. And this is where your spirituality comes in place. I take a break and I pray. I try to connect to my spiritual self. Okay. Then in that course too, I also read books. Then in that same period, I stay off social media and ask myself the question of why did I start in the first place? And it's possible that not having that zeal or to motivate you to continue might be a sign that you need to refill. Sometimes when I start feeling that way, it's a call that Steven, you need to refill your tank. Then when I refill, I get fired up again and I move. And so other times it might also be that a call to check what you are doing and ask yourself question: why did I start in the first place? So you must understand that not every time you want to motivate yourself. Sometimes it might just be listening. Sometimes you might have to listen to some people that inspire you, some podcasts, some speakers, to get your zeal back. There have been times when I was in school that everything just seemed like, what am I doing? Then I plug my earphone and I listen to speakers. I listen to my mentor. I call him my father and my mentor, Mr. Johnson Abali. I listen to him. I listen to Vusi Tembekwayo. I listen to a couple of other speakers like that. I also listen to some messages. And by the time I'm done with that, I get fired up again. So I mentioned 3 things. Take a break. Ask questions. Ask yourself, why did you start in the first place? Okay? And also, it might also be a call for you to refill yourself, because it's a journey. Okay, I think it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a relay. Okay, it's not a relay. It's a journey that you don't just run that way. When it happens that you're beginning to lose steam or lose yourself, you take a break, you calm down, and refire again. And that way, you'll be able to find your motivation to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen. So, as you said, take a break, ask questions, and ask yourself why you started in the first place. Ask yourself what exactly you're doing, and like refuel yourself, and everything. And also try to, as you're taking the personal retreats, try to reconnect with yourself. So I believe that answers your question, Mrs. or Miss Melicine Mary. I don't know if that answers your question. You can let us know in the comment section. Okay, so I'll give an opportunity for, as we round up now, like Mr. Godfrey and Mr. Stephen, like as you give us your final words, we would love you to take some time and like could you recommend any books that we can read that's to fuel us up in personal development, to fuel us up as business people or freelancers or any field that we are going into that will help us become the industry leaders that we want to be? Would you recommend any kind of books and all? And also before I give room for that, like I want to use this um, moment to say that today is going to be the launch of our software, our web application. For most of you, like Nsky, which is the main sponsor of this conference, like is a tech company based here in Abuja that is building a software or has built a software or built a web application that would allow young people become the best versions of themselves, become industry leading experts, industry leaders, career leaders by gaining whatever in demand skills they might have need for professionally. So with the Nsky platform, you'll be able to learn anything, you'll be able to get mentored, and you'll also be able to get connected to job opportunities, to internship opportunities, or just opportunities to help you become the best version of yourself, career-wise or business-wise. So tonight is supposed to be the launch of a better version, but then we would be like instead of just taking the normal step that we wanted to take to just launch the platform today, we'll be taking a more systematic approach where we would send out a link to the community and then you would let us know what you'd love to learn, let us know what you'd love to see. And then all along the week, we'll be rolling out the platform and some of the courses, some of the mentorship opportunities and features all through the week and through next week. That's for the next 2-3 weeks before we have our major mega launch. And if you'd also love to be part of the people that will test these platforms, be part of this vision to bridge the gap of unemployment or to build the next generation of industry leading experts, then this is your opportunity. So as we'll be working with some better testers, with some young people, industry leaders and the rest to test this platform to find flaws, to find things that we could do to make this platform better because the goal is to serve you guys. The goal is to give you guys nothing but the very best. So, like, please, if you're interested, we are going to still drop a form in regards to this. You can fill it and then join a better testing group and let us know what you think about the platform and how we can make it better. So, as we round up now, please, Mr. Stephen and Mr. Godfrey. So, Stephen just finished speaking. So, I'll start with Mr. Godfrey. Like, let's know your last words, your final words, and also recommend some books that has helped you come this far and books that people can also read as we continue this journey to becoming great and industry leading experts.
Okay, I would have to go first. Mr. Stephen, please permit me because I have something else I need to attend to in the next 2 minutes as at exact 9:30. So I'll quickly drop this and then I would go. Hope you guys can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so yes, the popular saying that school is a scam. All right, I would just want to use this as my final word to undergraduates that if you graduate from the university with only your degree, you scammed yourself. Okay, if you graduate from the university with only your university degree, you scammed yourself. So a few books I think is very important. I mean, has changed the course of my life. Number one is Think and Grow Rich. Everybody's compulsory you read that book. I don't care whom you are, but you need to read Think and Grow Rich. And it's a book I have read 5 times already this year. I'm heavy when it comes to reading books. I've read Think and Grow Rich 5 times already this year, and I'm reading it again. I met a man, Bob Proctor, who said he read that book for over 50 years of his life, like he was reading the book. If you know Bob Proctor, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so please have Think and Grow Rich as a manual, like a life manual that you read on a daily basis. Okay, then moving forward, you also need to read The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Sorry, I'm a bit fast. I need to quickly wrap up now. Think and Grow Rich is by Napoleon Hill. The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is by T. Harv Eker. Okay, another powerful book that can help you is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. Then another powerful book is Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. Then Atomic Habits by James Clear. All right. There are a couple of others. Like The Millionaire Fast Lane. I love reading books on money. So if you ask me to mention books, I can mention a lot of books on money. By Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. Psychology of Money as well is a very nice book. Morgan Housel. Okay. So if you can start off with these ones, then I'm sure it will go a long way in your life. Okay. Thank you guys. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'll have to log out at this time. Thank you, Mr. Dan. Thank you, every team, every member of the team in NSky, right? Hope I got that correct.
Yeah,
NSky
you did.
community. God bless you. And I would reach out later so we could still talk more on how we could partner and do bigger things. Okay. And I would love to hear from as many of us who also were in the session tonight. I would love to connect with you. My Facebook
Yeah.
handle is as simple as Ifeanyi Godfrey Daniel. Okay. And you can send me a DM and then we could connect better. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Steven. I also like to connect with Mr. Steven. Probably I could get his number from you, Mr. Dan. Thank you so much,
Yes.
and God bless you all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And
Thank you very much. So,
like we would love to talk more and partner more with you, sir. Okay, so
My
Mr.
pleasure.
Steven, the floor is all
thank you
yours,
very much,
sir.
Mr. Ifeanyi. Thank you. It was nice having this conversation with you today. Hold on.
Thank you, boss.
All right. So, quick one. Books I would recommend. One, I recommend my book to you. If you're a student, you need to read my book as well. It has been a guide for over 2,000 students across the world. Let me use that word. So Daniel, you can check the link in your chat box already. So you can just paste it for them in the comment section for them to download the book. Yeah, I can download my book there. And also, I think you can read Atomic Habits. You can read, well, there's a book by Ben Carson that I think you should read as well. You Have a Brain, Gifted Hands, on sales, I think on leadership, extreme ownership. I read it when I was in school. Except my leadership skill. I think I have another one. The one I'm currently reading now. I'm reading Social Intelligence. Yes, Social Intelligence. Yes, I'm also reading. What's this book I bought recently? Thinking Fast and Slow. Yeah, by what's his name? Daniel Kahneman as well. So there are a lot of books you can always get online about different stuff. And yes, I would also like to end with this, that your undergraduate life is a journey, and generally life is also a journey, and at every point of the journey you should learn and immerse yourself in the process. Immerse yourself. It helps you when you immerse yourself in every part of the journey. So I was talking to someone yesterday and I said that for every journey I have to go through, for every experience I have to go through, I ensure that I immerse myself in it and I enjoy the process, learn from the process, not just for myself, but for those that are coming behind me. So immerse yourself in the journey and get the best out of every journey. So that's my pattern short. Yes, to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Stephen Lawyer. on LinkedIn. Then you can also connect with me on Instagram. So if you're a young person, I'll very soon I'll be pushing out videos on Instagram. So you might want to check them out. Connect with me, send me a message at Stephen Lawyer on Instagram. Yes, thank you very much for having me, Daniel. And I also appreciate your team at NSky for putting this together and ensuring that young people have access to this level of information and yeah, and also learning from other people as well. Thank you very much. And yeah, to everyone listening to me so far, thank you for listening as well. Good night. Okay, Mr. Daniel will join us shortly. So just hold on a bit. Mr. Daniel will join shortly. Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel, are you there? Okay. Daniel. Oh, okay. I guess he's having issues with his network. So just hang in a bit. There might be some information that we would like to share with you, and the opportunities you'd like to share with you as well. So hang in.
Okay, sorry for that network interruption. So as we round up today, I remain your host and the Chief Executive Officer of NSky. Look forward to working with you all and doing greater things with you as the journey continues. Thank you very much and good night.